All right, we're back for another episode of Game Debate. We have Nate Merritt, Will Johnson. I'm Nick. Today's topic, we're going straight for it. Best Super Nintendo RPG of all time. Let's do a little sidestep here, guys. Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, who has better RPGs?
I mean, in total, I guess the PlayStation has so many more as far as the amount of them. But the quality over quantity, you have
quality over quantity. Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I think don't get me wrong, PS1's got some great RPGs, but it all started with the Super Nintendo, I think. And this is tough, man. So we talk about SNES RPGs. I mean, we got stuff like Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, Earthbound, FF3, which is what? Is that FF6, Nate? That's what it really is?
Yeah.
And we got Mario RPG, Illusion of Gaia, and stuff like Terra Enigma, Secret of Evermore. I mean, there's just tons of stuff here, man. And then stuff like, now, Nate, you own Terra Enigma, don't you?
Do it. Yes.
Now, that was Japanese only.
Do
I
it.
never played it.
Yeah, it was Japanese only. It's phenomenal. Do it. It's so good. It's the Illusions of Gaia, and then Soul Blazer, and then Terra Enigma.
Oh, the trilogy? I didn't know they were all connected like that.
Oh, cool. Hey, yeah, I was unaware of that either. That's awesome.
Will, from looking at your shirt, I think I might know what you're going to pick. I know we all, and I haven't talked to them in advance. Like, I know we all have very similar interests on these Super Nintendo RPGs. And we gotta how we show a shout out to the champ, Nate, Justin Incredible.
Yes.
Incredible. Yeah, very incredible.
Nate, really good friends with Justin Incredible. Is he still the world record holder for
He is.
He is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know if you all saw Good Games Done Quick this year, he brought the house down. Man, he kicked ass. Like, he really...
To do it like in a fashion he did it, incredible, you know?
I remember watching that stream. There's one boss fight. I remember I watched it my last hour at work, and I got home, I listened to it, and actually watched it at home. I was up way too late watching his run. Because it's like a 2 or 3 hour run, I think is what he runs. But it was more for fun because they had to play the American version, and he has to play the Japanese version for Steve.
Yeah.
There's the part where he has to perfectly land his stomp 200 times on some guy. It's like it's getting ready to start, and there's a girl doing the MC work, and Justin's shh. And the whole crowd's silent. You can see his face. It's shut the fuck up.
He takes it serious.
And then I remember this one part, when you go to the Minecraft run, or you're in a minecart run, I guess it is, and you want to do sub 2 minutes, I think is what you want to do.
Yeah.
And when that starts too, it's another thing. It's just he throws his hand up like a principal, silence. No. But I remember
there's another part where he has to fight the boss Cake, where you have to you got to listen for an audio cue.
No.
So that was another point where he had to silence everybody, and they actually told the crowd to be quiet for that fight.
Now, I remember during the reason I bring up the cart run specifically is after because they said beforehand, hey, if you get sub 2s, donate $2 or something. And as soon as he completed it, some guy donated either $1,000 or $5,000 at one spot right there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. He makes a ton of money, man. And I know those Good Games Done Quick. There's one going on right now. Is it Awesome Games Done Quick? One of the some.
Yeah.
It's summer games or something like Summer Games Quick.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't think he's running, or he definitely would have made it known. You know what I mean?
He's not running right now. He's not on vacation, and he works quite a bit. So.
Oh, did he get on at Kroger or something?
Yeah,
we probably shouldn't tell his personal details over the street. Justin, we love your stuff. You're awesome, man.
Yeah, let me just take one side note about it, since we're talking about RPGs and Justin. Yeah. He does have a perfect Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, and Final Fantasy IX file. He also holds some sort of record on Final Fantasy IX, and he wrote the game fact for it on GameFAQs.com for Final Fantasy IX. As one specific part of the game where he runs to get the best sword in the game, I believe it is. He found the quickest route to get that sword, and so he wrote the game fact for it. It's over on GameFAQs. So
my God,
that's awesome, Nate.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so I don't know where to start here. Will, do you want to go in tell some of your favorites and go with what your favorite is, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm fine with that. I'll go off first. It was hard for me to know the list. You all will see some insight. Earthbound's obviously my number one. You can tell I wore the shirt for it today. But going back, Nick, you and I, Mario RPG, we just talked about that. Chrono Trigger, I mean, it's mind-blowing too, but that's kind of the three that were really had my attention. And obviously Earthbound's my favorite, but I'll go right into it why.
We'll do it.
Yeah, I remember all the way back, Nick and I always liked games that weren't the popular games, I guess, a lot of times. And we got Earthbound in the Best Buy $5 bin. There's a stack of them. And,
yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I can't believe it. And going back, the big box and then the strategy guides being included, Nick, in a game that was unheard of. You know, I mean, that wasn't something that any other game had at the time.
Yeah.
So this the allure of that to start off with, you know. So you sit down and you start Earthbound. In the first 10 minutes of that game, it just reels you right in. You know, it gets you right into the adventure. I won't spoil it. I mean, I know it's been out for whatever years, but it just grabs you. And one thing I like about Earthbound, I think it's the best, hear me out on this, multiplayer, single-player game of all time ever made.
I like
you got two little boys, me and Nick, sitting side by side. One of us has a strategy guide.
Player 2 has strategy guide, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We just take turns, hand the controller back and forth. That was the ultimate game. And we even did it with our sister. There's 3 of us sitting on the TV playing a one-player game. I mean, you all know, there's something special about it. I can't describe it, you know?
Well, I can elaborate even more on Earthbound. It's something like Nate has a video on his YouTube channel, and it says, I remember the thumbnails, Earthbound stinks, is that what it is, the advert?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I remember we had subscriptions to like Game Pro, Nintendo Power back in the day. And I remember Nintendo Power, like, God's left page, bottom left. There was a thing on, no, maybe it was Game Pro actually did it. It was highly reviewed, but a short review for Earthbound. And I remember seeing it, you know, you see the big star, you know, when you look back on it, the cover of the Starman and Ness in it, I think that's really misleading. Like,
oh, very. Yeah,
like you see it, but I remember we rented it several times at our local, was it Movie Warehouse, and we'd play it so far and take it back. And we'd rent it so much, we had to play over the beginning again. But one time we rented it for like 2 weeks straight and got really far. But like he's saying, one day at Best Buy, sure enough, they had the big boxes stacked up for $5 a pop, and holy crap, the story, it's such a good game. When you look back, it's actually a difficult game because you got to grind.
Difficult. You said it, Nick. And I think for me, I don't know if this is the first game to ever do. I know it's one of the first, obviously, but we'll see your enemies on screen in an RPG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not the random encounters. Like, and then when you get overpowering to the weaker enemies, they run from you. How cool is that? You know,
and I like, and of course, and like it's one of the games too. Like I think, you know, if they come up from you from behind, it's the red blow up. They get the first attack, that whole mechanic. And I like saying, like, there's not true random encounters because you do see the guys on the map. Well, that's a big thing for me. Now, Nate, did you get 2 copies of Earthbound? Is that the story?
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't know you guys got it in the $5 bin. My second copy I got was in the bin at Walmart, but it was $20. It was $19.99. They had a ton of them laying in the bin, and my mom just picked up an extra one. I don't think she remembered that she had bought it for us for Christmas when it first came out, but so I had a second copy, and I got rid of my a second copy too. I kept the box, fortunately, but I did get rid of the first copy in the box way back in high school. Since I had 2, I was like,
of course.
You didn't think about that stuff back then, so. But I kept my original with the strategy guide in box, so.
You know, I'm not sure of this. Like, when Earthbound came out to retail, was there a premium price for that strat guide?
It was 80, I think.
It was 80. It was 79. That's what I remember too.
And I think that could have hurt it out of the gate too. I think if you got confusing box art, like, I'm not trying to hate on it. I love Starman.
No, right.
I think if you look at that, you have no idea what the hell's going on. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. And the thing about playing that game without the strategy guide, it's damn near impossible in some spots. I mean, and I had a couple perfect saves on that. I got all the 1 out of 128. Items and stuff, fighting them over and over.
Yeah. I mean,
but without the strategy guide, how the heck would you even know to look for it?
Could you imagine Four-Side without the strategy guide?
Oh, I didn't want to think about it. And definitely want to give a shout out to the music in that game. The music is incredible. And we're not talking about their stolen licensed tracks. Like, they jack out a lot of Beatles tracks and stuff like that. I don't care.
Runaway 5 so incredible, yeah.
But Nate, you know, you're a Final Fantasy guy as well. Do you know what you would say is your favorite Super Nintendo RPG?
I go back and forth all the time between Final Fantasy 3 and Chrono Trigger, and the reason why I go back and forth there is because Final Fantasy 3 was the defining RPG for me. It's what got me on the track, changed my video game profile for the rest of my life. I remember the very first day I played it. It was one of my friends. He got it for his birthday. It was for his 12th birthday, I believe, and not even 12th. No, it was his 10th birthday. I went over to his house. It was $100. It was $99.99. Was Final Fantasy 3. His sister, his sister picked it up. It was his only birthday present. I'd never heard of the Final Fantasy series at the time. I'd only played Dragon Warrior 1 on the NES, and I didn't really like it all that much back then. I had played it and beat it with the Game Genie when I was real young. So we're playing Final Fantasy 3. That first thing that locked me in was that screen where Terra's on the Magitech armor walking through the snow. I was instantly hooked, and I couldn't keep my eyes off the screen. And then you can play actually 2 players as well. Whenever you go into the fight, the second player can control one of the other characters, which I thought was pretty cool. But
I didn't even know that.
I didn't either. I thought
only player 1 can control the person on the world map, but player 2 can actually help in the fights. But I really enjoyed that, and I played it through 2 or 3 times. Of course, then I rented it as much as I could, and then when I could buy it, I played it through 2 or 3 times in a row. And then, of course, later on, Chrono Trigger came out, and it blew me away too. The music in Chrono Trigger is one of the soundtracks I listen to a lot to relax. Even just some of the relaxing music is so.
I remember, not to cut you off real quick there, but specifically the song "Corridors of Time."
That's one. Yes.
Yeah, that one. And let me tell you, I want to tell a little side story on Chrono Trigger now. Chrono Trigger is another one. I know I keep beating this in the ground, but I was always confused by the cover, the box art. Yeah. It's like, he's like jumping in the snow with a sword, and it's awesome now, but from the outside looking in, when I never played it, I had no idea what was going on.
I mean, you wouldn't know what the heck was going on.
And I think also, it was a really late release in the Super Nintendo cycle too, Chrono Trigger was. And we never played it for the longest time. The first time I always heard about it, I played it on the Wii Virtual Console. Yeah. And I remember just like, I was going back and forth, should I buy it, should I not? It's only like $7.99 with Super Nintendo game for $10. I remember I got it, just like blown away by that game. Like, how did I miss this? Like, people talk about Earthbound, the game a lot of people missed. I think a lot of people missed Chrono Trigger.
More so than Earthbound, I'd say. Now,
And I got Chrono Trigger's incredible. And not even just the multiple endings, the awesome characters, but just the fact that all the time travel stuff, how it affects things and how you can approach it. And that was the 16-bit era. We had a game that was that far ahead.
Yeah, when you go back and prehistoric in that game, it's wild, boys. You don't expect it. It's like, holy crap, there's dinosaurs around me now. Like, this is wild, It's so awesome. Good. I love that.
There's so many things, man.
That and Final Fantasy III, they're probably the 2 most nostalgic for me, and that's probably why I go back to them so much. I loved Earthbound. I loved Mario RPG. They're right up there and in the top 5 as well. But when I got Chrono Trigger, I got it for Christmas. And the thing is about our Christmases, we would always open our gifts about a week or 2 early before Christmas because spend Christmas in Ohio, in northern Ohio, with my mom's family every year. So we had to open the gifts at our house early. Then we go to my grandma and grandpa's in northern Ohio for the next 2 weeks. So I would get my video games early. I started playing Chrono Trigger. I waited for it till we got to Ohio, and my grandpa had a basement. And we had a little 19-inch TV down there, and it was so cold up there. It was freezing cold. We had a little fireplace next to us, an actual wood fireplace. And I can just remember what I was wearing and everything. I wore a jogging suit, like same-colored jogging suit. Had my feet propped up. Our TV was actually on an old stove that didn't even work. So I had my feet propped up on the stove. I was sitting there playing Chrono Trigger. It was snowing outside. We had the fire going. I mean, it's just really, really good memories of being at my grandparents' house and playing that game. And so that's probably why I go back.
Strong nostalgia. Now, let me tell you all something that sucks. And you're going to totally agree with me that this sucks. We talked about 4 Pacific RPGs. Let me break this down. Chrono Trigger, it had a sequel, Chrono Cross, which it's okay, but it's whatever. Super Mario RPG.
I don't even consider that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Super Mario RPG, it kind of turned into the Paper Mario series, but didn't have like a true series. And then Earthbound has a true sequel that we never got. Now, FF3, obviously Final Fantasy's continued, but those 3 big ones like Mario RPG, Earthbound, and Chrono Trigger, we never, in America at least, got, it was over. That was it. How does that happen? Yeah. How do game developers know? How does, like, even, you always hear about Chrono Trigger has that dream team of developers, and they always talk about how they would love to make another one, and they never did. And they, Chrono Trigger had that big fan-made remaster project coming. They shut their asses down.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo and Square have a super strong relationship. I don't know why they've never done another one.
But boys, hear me out though. If all those games got those sequels, they wouldn't be as special. We wouldn't be having this conversation right now. That's part of the allure of those games, they're special, they're spectacular, they're singular,
I do the bummer though about Nathan about FF3. 3 of these 4 games we played and beat. Me and Will, we never played Final Fantasy 3. Never played 3. My first Final Fantasy, I've seen it play, but I don't know anything about it really at all. Is the line the Spoony Bard line? Is that from FF3?
The what line?
You Spoony Bard. I always hear that one.
Yeah.
The classic one where the picture guy's like, you Spoony Bard. It's like a bad local.
There's an actual bard in Final Fantasy 2 or Final Fantasy 4.
Maybe it's from 2 then.
That one might be.
Is FF2 actually FF2 in Japan?
No.
See,
FF was FF4 in Japan. Yeah.
See, we got it's so jumbled. The thing FF3 is actually the game before FF7. And a lot of people don't realize that. But I want to jump to FF7 for a thing. I know it's not a Super Nintendo RPG, but I remember the era when PS1 and 64 came out. All you heard about were 2 games coming out: Ocarina of Time and FF7. They were like right now when you think about Breath of the Wild 2 or these other great games down there, those were the games that were like, holy shit, here they come, you know.
Right.
Gosh, man. Oh God, so Nate, did you say FF3 is that yours or is it Chrono? Do you know? Can you pick one?
It's hard. In high school, I actually wrote a side story, my own short story of Final Fantasy III using the characters, using Locke and Umaro from Final Fantasy III. So
yeah,
he's the Yeti, I guess. Umaro's the Yeti. So I wrote a story based on them. It was a treasure hunting story. So, I mean, it's really tough. It was the first game. It blew my mind. It got me set on RPGs for the rest of my life. So I'm probably going to have to go with that just because
of course
it changed the course of my gaming. I mean, I wasn't going to play RPGs probably. I was a huge platformer, side-scroller guy. Beat 'em ups. I loved those. I loved racing games. After RPGs, after playing Final Fantasy 3 in '94, that was it for me. That was it.
You know, that's a really good point Nate just said, because I remember getting super hype on RPG Super Nintendo, which rode into the PS1. Like the PS1, my God, it had some RPGs. It just led you straight into that. Another side note is when you talk about best RPG for Super Nintendo, a lot of people are gonna wonder, what about Link to the Past?
It's not an RPG though, Nick. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. A lot of people are gonna say, well, Link to the Past, why are you not talking about it? Yeah. But Link to the Past is not an RPG.
Yeah, if we were considering that, I mean, that's probably my favorite game ever.
Right,
yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm not considering that an RPG.
Yeah, I just don't think it's an RPG at all. But Chip Boys, I think we pretty much have
Whoa.
Oh, you cut me off.
No, I am cutting you off. What's yours?
Oh, Earthbound.
Okay. I thought that might be the case, but
when I think of Earthbound, I want to talk about this too. And I was reading the other day about modern gaming and about specifically storytelling in modern gaming. I mean, it's a lot of modern gaming is all flash and no substance. Yeah. And all these games we talked about, not just in Earthbound, they pound story into your soul.
Story heavy.
Did.
And Earthbound only has 4 primary characters, and you have they all have their own individual like OG origin stories. They come together. It's like a movie, you know. They all come together.
Yeah. I heard this other day on something else I was watching. You know, it's not great unless you have a great villain. You got the great hero, but then what a villain, Porky. Oh my goodness, we didn't talk about him. You know, you have to have a great villain.
Yeah, Porky. And you got to think about the final run. I never know how to pronounce it. Is it Gigas? Gygas? Is that what it is?
What I always heard, Gigas, whatever.
And then at the end, I don't know. There were different preset names for the characters and stuff. Was it Nespu, Paula, Jeff, or Isaac, whatever you want to call them? But the praying thing at the end.
Oh, man. It's just, it gives me chills thinking about it now. You know?
Well, in our Facebook group, we talked about before, like, if you unfortunately were to pass away and you wanted one game to put on people, I said Earthbound just because I know at the end, like, when you go to pray and shit, to bring the house down, Because dude. We're not getting Mother 3 essentially because of, like, be it religious and
copyrights,
homosexual stuff and copyrights.
I just want to read about that real quick. I found this from back in February. It was the Game Informer senior editor, Imran Khan. Apparently, he said on a forum on Reset Era, and I have no idea where he got this from. Nobody does. All he said was it was full steam ahead for a while, but upon reevaluation, there were aspects of the game that weren't going to go without controversy. And this was back in February. I hadn't even heard that until just a couple of days ago.
And everything was
gypsies, man.
It's the gypsies. Because like Nate said, he didn't play Mother 3 because he wanted to play the legitimate true version. And we're playing the famous Tomato translation, or Motto, whatever that guy's name is. Thanks to him, by the way. But the gypsies, I mean, they're literally like Mr. Slave looking guys. They're homosexuals. No, we had no judgment on that, obviously. But obviously Nintendo is gonna have a hard time touching that. Not to mention that game. You think Earthbound's hard? Mother 3 is seriously difficult.
Well, here's the thing about it, though, Nick. There's a rhythm mechanic in the game that helps take down more HP on the bad guys. We weren't able to do that.
You can't play that.
You had to take one hit on them. It was
tough. You can't play that on emulation either.
Yeah.
So that's another issue with that. So that's a story for another day, though. So this one, Nate, you have a YouTube channel. Do you want to do any kind of like, hey, go to my channel, check this shit out?
Yeah. It's currently Nate-stalgia Kid 84. I had changed it from Nostalgia Kid 84 to Nate-stalgia Kid 84 because I wanted to touch on more things than just retro.
Yeah.
But I think I'm gonna change that name back just because I like that Nostalgia Kid. That's why I had a jingle and everything when I first started the channel back in 2011 for it, and I never could find anybody to play a little guitar riff for me, so I never got the jingle going at the beginning. But it was highly inspired by Angry Video Game Nerd, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Well, even with the name change, because the nerd used to be the Nintendo Video Game Nerd, I believe.
Yeah.
He went to the Angry Video Game Nerd because he's just, obviously what he is. He's obviously very special.
He's awesome. Yeah, he cracks me up.
But I'll throw up the link right now to his channel. Put it up there.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, this has been another episode of Game Debate, boys. Good job. So for Will, for Nate, for Nick, see you next time, guys.
Buddy Pickles.
Boom.
Do it.